You guys don't know it, but it's been so long.
I did not think I was gonna make it to the end of this week. I'm just gonna be straight up and honest with you guys. So those are some questions that I answered on Teachers Connect. I hope that my answers helped you guys with your questions.
It's been so long. You guys don't know it, but it's been so long. Happy Thursday. Um, yeah, that's right. This is my first time in front of the camera this week. I've not even made an effort to talk about my week this week just because it's been so crazy. It's just been so just off the wall and weird this week. So yeah, just gonna give you what we're talking about this week. So in math, we're talking about counting on to subtract. Now that sounds easy to you guys, subtracting, but it was very difficult for my kids to get the grasp of counting on. They got the concept of counting back. What we're teaching them this week is how to count on. So starting at 5 and going up to our total. So from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They completely understand the concept of counting back, and that's how I actually started the lesson this week, was how to count back in subtraction. And this time we kind of flipped it and shown how to count on, saying counting back and counting on is essentially, you'll get the same result, it's just going in the opposite direction. And it was very hard for them to grasp it, but by today, they've totally got it. In reading this week, we're using the book, The Moon Seems to Change, which totally ties in our science stuff, because we're talking about patterns in the sky, and that just encompasses our moon phases and the patterns of the moon and just all that stuff. So that's all intertwined this week. And we're also tying that in, talking about main idea, main topic, and key details. And now, this week was a rough week for me, and it's just gotten to the point to where I just said, you know what, y'all, this is just totally unacceptable. You guys are blatantly being disrespectful. You are blatantly just not doing the right thing, and I'm not okay with that. We had to have a heart-to-heart yesterday on Wednesday and just come to terms with, this is what's not going to happen, and this is what's not going to work in our classroom. And the boiling point of all that is just the talking in my classroom. It is absolutely non-stop, and it's gotten to the point to where I have to actually verbalize, this is a time that you can talk, and then this is a time where you have to listen to what I'm saying. And it's just so crazy that I have to go to that extent to actually having to verbalize, I am teaching. You can't talk to your friend right now because I am teaching. And we made a anchor chart today about when the appropriate times to talk and the inappropriate times to talk. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a game out of the appropriate times to talk and the inappropriate times. I'm going to put it in my pocket chart station, and they can sort the appropriate times to talk and the inappropriate times. See how I flip that around and I make it work? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You got to make it work for you. Tomorrow is going to be a crazy day for us because tomorrow is Reading in the Schools Day. We are going to have parent volunteers coming in. We're going to have cheerleaders. We're going to have football players, the whole shebang come, and my camera's crooked. They're going to come and reach our classroom all day. So tomorrow, I'm going to have someone come in at 8, 10, 10:45, 11:45, and I believe 12:45. I'm not sure about that last time. I got to check and make sure. But what my friends are going to have to do is they're going to have someone come in and read a story to them. Once they get that story done, their task is they're going to go back to their seats, and in their reader's journal, they're going to have to, for one story, draw their favorite character and write why that's their favorite character. For another story that someone reads in our room, we're going to talk about the setting. What was your favorite setting from the book? Why is that your favorite setting? What did you see in the pictures that you liked? What did you hear about that setting that you liked? For one of the stories, we're going to talk about problem solution. What was the problem in the story? How did they solve it? And then for one of the stories, they're going to have to write about just beginning of the story, what happened, middle of the story, what happened, end of the story, what happened. So we're going to get some practice with those 5-finger retells and really, really get that in. I'm going to do a couple of things. Number one, I have to change their books in their book boxes. Number two, I need to get some books out because for my readers, some of them have books they want to bring, some of them do not. So I need to have a good selection of books for them to read to the class. So I'm going to go ahead and get that together. I'm going to get our lunch choices for tomorrow up and ready, and then I'm going home. I'm going to go ahead and end this part right here, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow afternoon. What's up, guys? It is Friday, September the 21st, or as I like to call it, it is Fri-yay. We have a very busy day going on today. So today is Reading Across the Schools Day, which means I'm going to have people in and out of my room all day today just reading to my kids. Number one, I got all of my reader volunteers thank you cards. On the front, it just says thank you, and then on the inside, it says thanks for being a bomb reader. And I'm going to have all my kids sign all these different cards. There's only like 5 of them, so they won't have to sign too many. And I'll just have like a little assembly line, just sign, 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 and then you're done. I got them that, and it says that on the inside because I also got my parent volunteers that are reading bath bombs. Just as a little thank you gift for coming in and, you know, taking the time out of your day to come and spend it with us. So I got that together just now. I just made these cards. I'm going to set them out so that way the kids can sign them. I am going to make copies of morning work today. I also have to go and make copies of all of these and cut them out real quick before the kids get here. What's up, y'all, and happy Friday. It is very dark in here, and it's because I don't have the lights on in my room, so let me turn them on. So today was Reading in the Schools Day, and it was a great day to, what the world is this? We had a great day today. We've had a lot of parents in our room. We had a lot of kids in our room from other classes, from the upper grades coming in to read to our kids. And it's been a great day today. So just kind of give you a synopsis about today. We started out doing our morning work today, and I'll get more into what our morning work usually is later on in this video. But we start with our morning work today with our math test. Just go ahead and get it out of the way. So we did that. After that, we went into our math stations. So I had my boys do already, then my girls went to math tubs, and then after that I swapped. Not the greatest idea because I don't want my 13 boys all together, but oh my gosh, I was not thinking until after the fact, and I was like, great. So I had to deal with that. After that, so at 9:30 I kind of sat them down and I showed them a book that I wrote. If you guys are familiar with the program Right Brain Books, when I worked with the after school care program, we had a class on this to where you get a textless book, but it still has pictures in there, and I can't find mine. Okay, so I showed them my book that I made from Right Brain Books, and I'm an actual author because it says written by Devontae Kelly. So yes, I'm an author. I'm just not a published author, but they don't know that. So I just talked to them about, you know, there are going to be lots of people reading in the school, in our classroom today, just kind of how those expectations go, and we modeled that, we practiced that while I was reading my book. So we read my book, and it was just a cool little story about a chef who's about to open his restaurant, and when he tries to make his first dish, his main ingredient, broccoli, comes alive and doesn't want to get cooked. So the broccoli starts getting chased by the chef, and in the midst of it all, they end up creating a fantastic dish that did not involve broccoli at all. And then from that day forward, they both worked together as chefs in that restaurant. So we just read that book. It was just something silly, something cool. And in their notebooks, so we have right here, my favorite character in the story is, and she chose broccoli as her favorite character, and it's because he got chased in the story. So this is her picture of the chef chasing the broccoli around in the back of the restaurant. But they actually had a lot of great pieces from the kids in their readers' journals. So that was a really, really cool activity that we did with that. I planned on doing that with my readers as well. So as my readers read a book,
we would go back to our seats and talk about setting and talk about all that stuff. No, scrap that. It was a nice plan, but it didn't work. And not because it wasn't going to work, it was just because time was not on my side. So we had our first reader come in, one of my room moms. She's amazing. She read 2 books for us, and then before we knew it, we were missing some of our recess time. So we went straight to morning recess. We ate our snacks. When we came back in, we went to the restroom, came back to our room. By the time we got back to our room, our second reader was here. So our second reader read her 2 books. Oh, by the way, the second reader, not only is she a parent of one of the kids in my room, but she's also a first grade teacher as well. So it was super cool to have her come in and kind of see what's going on in here and just kind of, you know, see how her child is doing and all that stuff. So super cool to have her come in. After she read her 2 books, the Apex team came in and did their thing with our fun run and getting them hyped up for all that. So we had that. By the time they left, it was time for lunch. So we went to lunch. When we came back from lunch, we had someone reading right after lunch. So my third room mom came in and she read her 2 books, and I just love that mom to death as well. After that, we had a reading test that we had to do today about our text for this week, The Moon Seems to Change, and that was just doing important key details that relate back to the main idea. So we went through that. After that, we packed up. We went outside. After that, we came back inside, used the restroom. When we came back from the restroom, we had a group of 4th graders come in and read to us until it's time for a special area. So they read to us, went to special area, came back, went home. So it was just a bunch of reading and a couple of tests. But other than that, it's been a great day. It's been a cool day. One thing that I do want to say is that, oh my gosh, I did not think I was going to make it to the end of this week. I'm just going to be straight up and honest with you guys. With how this week started, I was about to just, I don't even know. I was just about to just lose my absolute ever-loving mind just with how frustrated I am. And it's days like today that really, really humble me and let me know why I want to be a teacher so much and why I love to be in this profession so much. Even though I have not been in the profession long, today is a reason that I love teaching. What I'm going to do is, because I don't have much else to talk about this week, because I feel like I've just been so down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop taping right here. I'm going to go into our target for this week, which is what I personally do for morning work. Okay, so before I go, I do want to talk to you guys about what I do for morning work. If you have seen my Teachers Connect post, I talked a little bit about how my morning goes and how I don't have enough time, I think, to get a lot of things done. So what my schedule looks like for this year is that our school doors open at 7:15. So my kids have from 7:15 to 7:30 to enter the school building, go to the cafeteria to get breakfast if they need it, and then come to our classroom. So once 7:30 hits, we have our school morning news come on, and it usually takes about 10 minutes to get through. By the time that gets done, it's about 7:40, and my math block is supposed to start at 7:45. Now listen, I don't get everything done in the slightest bit done by 7:45. So, and to add on to that, a lot of my kids don't even get into the room until like 7:25, 7:30ish. And what my kids have to do, they have to go and make their lunch choices. They have to go and put their folders away. They have to go and put their backpacks away. They need to go and get stuff for, put their lunch boxes away. They have to get stuff from me and all that stuff. So it's a lot of independent stuff that they have to do in the morning as well, besides doing their morning work. And with my kids not coming in until about 7:25, by the time they're done unpacking, by the time they're done giving me notes and their lunch money and putting their backpack away and putting their lunch box away on the other side of the room, and then going to make their lunch choice, having to read those lunch choices in because I don't tell them the lunch choice. So by the time they get all that stuff done, it's 7:30, and it's time for Single Morning News. So and during the Single Morning News, they do not work on anything. They do not touch anything. Their hands are by their sides, their eyes are on the screen, and everybody's paying attention to it. And I think that's very important that they pay attention to that stuff so that way they stay in the know. But that doesn't leave a lot of time, because by the time that's over with, what morning work can they do in 5 minutes when my math time is supposed to start? Now, listen, I might get in trouble for saying that, but my math block never starts on time. Never, ever. I'm sorry, but it's just real life. So some of the things that I've been doing, especially here recently, we're doing a lot of number sense, different types of computation and things like that. So what I've been doing is not exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to turn the screen. I'm going to show you what I planned on doing, and then I'm going to show you what I'm doing now. All right, guys. So I was going to show you on my projector what all I use for morning work, but there was a big glare on there, and you wouldn't be able to see anything. So I'm just going to show you from my laptop. Now, what I did at the very beginning of the year, so the very first 2 weeks of school, all I did was I just set out different types of bins, and they were just kind of like, and it was just like engineering type stuff. So there were pattern blocks, there were Legos, there were like Lincoln Logs, just different types of engineering tools that they could use for the morning. So I just used those just to kind of see who's able to work on their own, who likes to share, who likes to be to themselves, who can share, who can't share, who can be near each other, who cannot be near each other. So that's just a gauging tool for me. That's what I did the first 2 weeks of school. After that, okay, so one thing that I did plan on using for morning work was this Math 4 a day. So what they had 4 boxes a day that they would do for morning work, and they would just go from left to right. So on Monday, they would have their first box, which is just computation, adding and subtracting. Then 3 of the boxes would be some type of skill that they've learned in kindergarten that we're reviewing, or a skill they learned with me in first grade, and we are reviewing. Everything that they have on here is review. These are things that they've already done. These are things that should be independent for them. It should be achievable for them. They should be able to do this work right here. But they would just keep this paper for the whole week. And like I said, Monday, they would just start here at the quick check, math computation, and then work their way to the right. And then Tuesday, they would start here and work to the right. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, I have not used this just yet because I think that for my class, we're not ready for this type of work just yet. What I am doing is something that is a little bit more basic, but it still is a way for me to track their math skills that they're learning so far. So basically for the first 9 weeks, all we've been doing is math facts from 6 through 10. And then after that, we got into balancing equations. We got into team numbers. And we're now into counting on to add, counting on to subtract, counting back to subtract. And this upcoming week, we're talking about story problems, so adding and subtracting in story problems. So one thing that I've been doing is, after those first 2 weeks, I've been going to this website right here, and it's coloringsquared.com, and it's just a bunch of coloring sheets. Now, I know what you're thinking. Coloring sheets have no purpose, but hear me out. So there are different kinds of math skill worksheets that you can get from this website. So this offers basic counting, where they're kind of like subitizing. And I'll show you this one. This one's like subitizing, so they count the number. Are you gonna pop up? Okay, here we go. So I have to count the number of dots in the square and then match that with the number, okay? So in this first one right here, this is 5, so they would go to 5 right here, and they know to color that square blue. So they would color that blue. This one would be blue, blue, blue. Probably this whole thing is the sky right here. But as they go on, they'll have different numbers, and I'll have to just color those colors. Now, all these end up making a picture at the end. So you could always go back and look and see if they make that picture. If the picture looks correct, then they know they've got it going on. If it does not resemble what the picture should be, then they know that they, and they know that they need some work on that. So there's basic counting. There are also color by number and adding and subtracting. I've used these two a lot. And then I've also used in the first grade one math facts. I've not looked at math concepts just yet, but my kids love doing these. I love for them to do that as well because they're still getting those math skills. I am still able to see. Oh, this is comparing numbers. Oh, I did not. Oh, nice. Sorry, I didn't notice that one. I haven't noticed that one before, but I've been using a lot of the adding and subtracting lately just because that's what we've been working on is adding and subtracting, and my kids are having a really hard time with noticing the sign that is in the problem. So this is something that I love to use to see if they can get those pictures to make sure that they're following that sign in the picture, as you can see. And it even goes into like team numbers, which we've already talked about, and how to add for those 10 and some 1. So we're all good on that. So that's what I use for that. And this, because of how our morning is set up, they don't have a lot of time for morning work. So this is something that can last over the span of 2 to 3 days. So for about 2 to 3 days of my week, I have one sheet, one of these just for them. So this is one thing that I use for morning work, and my kids love it. I don't have a problem with them doing it. They like to color and they like to make pictures, so putting that together with math, I mean, is a match made in heaven to me. So that's what we use for that. I also use another thing called Tangy Tuesdays. Tangy Tuesdays comes from the website gregtangmath.com. gregtangmath.com is a fantastic resource that I'm going to be using for computation. And I use the pack Tangy Tuesdays for that. They have Tangy Tuesdays, they have Wordy Wednesdays. They also on this website have different games that they can play on the computer and iPads. And they also have resources for teachers where you can make word problems, you can buy math centers, and then there are books that you can buy from this website as well. But specifically for what I use it for, Tangy Tuesdays. So Tangy Tuesdays is a math pack that is weekly, and every week there are 5 games that come with it. Now, there are 3 different packs for Tangy Tuesday. I just have pack 1, and in this pack they have 5 games. The first game is DigiCross, which is just like a crossword puzzle, and it works just like a crossword puzzle as well. There is Snake, which I'm going to talk to you about in just a moment because that's what I use for my morning work as well. This one is Noomtanga. I will start using this, but we're just not ready for that yet. There is Kakuma, which I don't know how to play. It looks complicated, and I just don't want to use it. And then Equado. I'm also going to be using Equado in the future. Not just yet, but I will. But I do want to get into Snake for right now just because that's the one that I'm mainly using right now. So Snake, what they do is they just fill in the blank box in order by combining the numbers from the previous 2 boxes. So what they'll do is for the first snake, if you notice there are 2 snakes, what I personally do is I cut that in half. They do 1 snake on one morning and then the other snake on another morning. So between that and then the coloring sheet that lasts 2 to 3 days, I'm pretty much set on my morning work as of now. But what they do is they'll start at the very top of the snake right here. You see it starts with the number 8. They'll go down to the next box. They have 8 and it says +1. So I'm going to add 8 and 1 together. I'm going to write 9 in this box right here. Then you're going to go from 9. It says 9 minus 4. That'll be 5. 5 minus 4, that's 1. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2, so on and so forth. Now just follow that snake in order until they get to the very end. Now, I like this because this is a way for them to self-check their work, because by the time they get to this box right here, whatever number that they get right here, if they take away 1, it should equal 7. So if they get to this point right here, if they take away 1 and it's not equal to 7, they know that they have an error somewhere. So they're going to start right back at the snake and they're just going to follow it until they find their error. Now, one thing that was really hard for my kids to understand at first was that if you mess up right here, not only is this number going to be a little bit off, but the rest of your snake is going to be just a little bit off as well. So I'm going to have to go back and finish out this one, as well as all of the other ones that are after it. That did confuse them the first week that we did it, but as we've been doing that more and more, they've learned to self-check that on their own. And then the same with this one at the bottom, they're going to start right here, and they're just going to follow that snake and fill in those blank boxes until they get to the end. Whatever their number is right here, if they add 1 to it and it makes 2, then they know they've got that snake correct. If they add 1 to their number and it doesn't equal 2, they know they messed up somewhere. They need to go back and check themselves. So, and my kids have really enjoyed this. They love to see if they can get it on the first try. And they just, I don't know what it is, but they just love, love, love that. So we use snake a lot for that. Noontanga, this looks very complicated, but once I show you this right here, I think it'll be a little bit easier for you to understand. So they also have the online game Noontanga, and I'm going to show you the online game, then I'm going to show you the pack from Tangy Tuesday. So there are 6 different levels to it, and you always start at level 1. And as you see, level 1 is just numbers 1 through 20. Level 2 is 11 through 30. Level 3 is 30 through 100. 4 is money. 5 is fraction. 6 is measurement. So how you play is there's going to be some numbers on the left and some numbers on the right. What you have to do is you have to match the number on the left and the number on the right. In this case, you have 1 and 1. Those match, so I'm going to click on both of those. And it's going to give me another set. On this one, the numbers that match are 3 and 3. For this one, it's 2 and 2. 3 and 3. 8 and 8. 6 and 6. 9 and 9. Now, as you see, it gives it different variations of the number. So sometimes it'll be a 10 frame. Sometimes it'll show you the name of the number. Sometimes it'll show you fingers. Sometimes it'll show you the numeral of it. So it's very, very good for, I think, for, oh, sorry, I messed that all the way up. 2 and 2. 7 and 7. 7 and 7. And 1 and 1. And once you finish the round 1, it'll move you on to round 2. And then round 2 will just be 3 numbers on each side. You have to figure it out. So it just gets a little bit harder. And then as you go into round 3, it'll be 4 numbers. And then that's what I'm going to show them. And we'll practice that. And then I'll start doing Noontanga right here, which is the exact same as the game, except it gives you all of the boxes. And the directions for this one is in each empty box, write the matching value between adjacent cards. So what you'll do is you look at these 2 right here. What's the same number between these 2 right here? Well, the same number between these 2 is, wait, let me find it first, is 2. So I got the number 2 right here because that's what's the same in these 2 boxes. Then they'll go to these 2 boxes. Well, in these 2 boxes, it is 20 and 20. And they'll just do the same thing for all the adjacent cards. And that's going across as well as up and down. So that'll take a little bit of whole group, probably about a week or 2 of really understanding how this game works. But I think once we get into that, they'll really enjoy that game. Equado, these are just equations they have to fill out. And it says fill in the empty boxes to make every horizontal and vertical equation correct. Read equations left to right and top to bottom, and then use every number in the bank once. So this is something else that we'll have to explicitly teach. And then, yeah, those are what I'm going to be using for my math as of right now. All right, but that's what I use for my morning work as of now. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my Teachers Connect questions, so that way I can tell you what other people do for their morning work, as well as answer a couple of questions from there. All right, so on Teachers Connect this week, I posed a question about morning work, and I've got a couple of responses. Ray responded and said that on Mondays, he has a "What did you do over the weekend?" journal prompt. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, he does reading comprehension and sentence correction worksheets. Wednesdays and Fridays, he has math warm-up for the students to complete. And then he says, we, of course, go over them as a whole class after they are done. Luke responded and said, for his engineering and technology classes, his students read and record 5 measurements on a ruler every day. Minerva said that her school recently did away with paper and pencil morning work, and they are doing the 4 C's. And the 4 C's are collaboration, creativity, communication, and critical thinking. At first, she was skeptical because it looked like my students were playing, but now I'm getting ready to make it a bit more structured. So basically, my students choose from Legos, puzzles, linking cubes, Unifix cubes, and checkers. These are activities to help them practice these 21st century skills. My students will gravitate to the Legos and puzzles, so I'm going to purchase some more critical thinking activities such as Rubik's Cubes, Connect 4, Jenga, ooh, I love Jenga, Scrabble Junior, etc., and create a rotation sheet to ensure that they don't just work on creativity every day. They really enjoy it. They rush to get to class every morning because of it, and it sets the tone for the rest of the day. And she's in 1st grade, and she works at a STEM school. That's so cool. We have 2 STEM schools in my district. My school's not one of them, but I hear great things about the other 2 schools that are in the district about their STEM programs. Jennifer from Glitter and Jams says, in 1st grade, I used a review page of skills that the students completed and turned in. This year in 2nd grade, I'm using morning tubs for early arrivers. Right now, these are filled with Legos, pattern blocks, felt games from the Target Dollar Spot, brain flakes. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know what brain flakes are, but I'll be sure to find out. And wooden balance puzzle from the Target Dollar Spot. The kids love them, and that requires no prep from me other than changing them out periodically through the year. I intend to put some seasonal items in there to keep the engagement high. She has STEM bins for Friday Fun Club that the kiddos love to use as well. The kids are so creative, and it's fun to watch them interact with each other. She has 8 bins, and 2 to 3 students can work together in the same bin. Actually, I'm going to pause on that right now. I want to show you something that I've been getting, and it's actually that from someone that has donated to my classroom. So as you guys know, I put an Amazon wish list out, and I just put it in my bio. Sorry, I don't put it in my bio. On YouTube, on my videos, I just put it in the description box below, and always just say, if you want to donate to my classroom, you don't have to, but if you want to, I just appreciate it so much. Thank you. And as you guys know, Astrid from a couple of videos before has donated something to me. This time, it is anonymous. So, anonymous person, thank you so much for donating. But they got me 6 Sterilite bins. And they also got me sorry, I'm trying to figure out what they're called. On the bag, it's just called Jarby STEM. But it's so cool because they are these. Like these things, and they just they combine together as I mess it up. But they just combine together, and you just make different stuff with it. To this person, thank you so much for buying me this. I really, really enjoy it. But I think this is another STEM thing for, just engineering and building, things like that. And I planned on using these bins right here to kind of keep it enclosed with a top, because the containers that I have now have no tops on them. So I'm always hearing things fall out of them because, ooh, boys. But thank you to whoever that got me that. I really, really do appreciate it, and I know that my kids are going to love those as well. But I want to piggyback off of that real quick. But that's something that Jennifer said that she uses. And then I also have someone that says quiet reading, unfinished work, puzzles, and sorting for kindergarten. So those are some of the responses that I got from my question. Now I just want to share with you a couple of questions that I've seen that I want to share with you guys. So my first question does come from Jennifer from Glitter and Jams, and it is, season pass on the struggle bus, sending out an SMS. She said, I would love to hear how others incorporate AR and iReady lessons into their day, ensuring that each student completes 45 minutes of reading and 45 minutes of math per week, while each student takes at least 1 AR quiz each day. Oh, no, girl. I am struggling to fit everything in with these new activities being added into my day. I'm looking for some creative ideas from you amazing educators out there. Tracy responded and said that her students do silent reading with their AR books right after lunch for about 20 minutes. And if they need to do an AR quiz, that's when they do it. I also do literacy rotations on Thursday so they can do an AR quiz during that lesson block. With math, they switched to teaching in small groups, and as a result, the lesson runs as a rotation. So that's when I would work in the math. I believe you only have a small bank of iPads in your room, right? So that kind of puts you in a position where you have to do a rotation process to get everyone doing what they're requiring. Jennifer did respond back and said she's hoping to get everything up and running so that she could do groups effectively. And her classroom is 2-to-1 in iPads, and which is what I am. Now, in my school, in my district, we do not do AR, but we do have iReady. And what my team has done and what the kindergarten team here at my school is about to start doing is that we have laptop cart rotations. So if you look behind me, right there is my iPad case. Now, like I said before, I'm a 2-to-1 ratio when it comes to students and iPads. Now, what my team in first grade does to combat that is that, like I said before, we rotate a laptop cart. Now, there are 5 teachers in first grade, and there are 5 days in the week. So every day, someone gets the laptop cart. I get it on Tuesday. So what we do, and it works for us. If it doesn't work for you, I'm sorry. But what we do is that whenever it's our laptop cart day, we use those laptops to do iReady, which means my entire math block, which is 60 minutes long from 7:45 to 8:45, is solely on iReady to get those 45 minutes in. If for some reason that they do not get their 45 minutes in, those math rotations, if my math rotation board is right there, the blue, red, and yellow, what I have an iReady symbol, and by their group name, I will put iReady by it. Now, in that time, they'll grab an iPad and they'll go to their seats and do that. And there aren't any more than 7 people in one group, so I have enough iPads for that whole group to do it. So we have that one day, minus Tuesday. That whole math block for Tuesday is solely for iReady. And then if they do not make that 45 minutes, they have their rotation time for math tubs that they will do that iReady. But I hope that helps you, Jennifer. That's just what I do. If you have a laptop cart that can be rotated, I would highly look into that. But yeah, that's how we do that. So hopefully, I hope that helps you, Jennifer. Second question comes from Ray. And Ray says, who uses small groups in their daily programming? How do you choose who is in each group? What tips do you have for teachers who are just starting to use small group instruction? Now, for all of you that know, in last week's video, I told you that I have absolutely no experience in small groups for guided reading. I've been reading up on that stuff. You guys have been DMing me on Instagram. You've been leaving comments on YouTube. And I just want to thank you guys so much for that. What I plan on doing is Ray, have already done running records for my whole class. I know what levels they're at. Most of my kids, out of my 21 kids in my room, 13 or 14 of them are at a level A, B, or C. I have a couple that are D and E, and then I have 3 that are in like the HI range. So I'm going to end up having about 5 different groups. So one of my groups is going to be my HI group, one of my groups is going to be my DE group, and then my other 3 groups are going to be my ABs. So I already have that planned out. I have already gotten I've already gotten books to start off with my groups. So and what I plan on doing is I plan on meeting with every group every single day. How I'm going to do that is during our reading soar and for part of our ELA block, I have our EA with me. So I'm going to have her pull 2 of my groups. Probably it'll be my HI group and my DE group. And then I'll keep my AB groups. And we'll just see each other every day. The very first day, we're going to do a story walk. We're just going to go through. Oh, look at the front page. What do you see about the pictures? What do you notice? We're just going to be looking at the pictures. If there are any words in there that I think might need context, if there are any words that I know that my kids are not going to know, if there are any vocabulary words in there that they'll need to know to understand the story, I'm going to tell them about it then. Oh, look at this word right here. This word right here is blah. That just means, so what's that word? What does it mean? What's that word? What does it mean? So once we get through all that, that shouldn't take but maybe like 5 minutes of the 20 minutes. So next what we're going to do is we're going to read the story together. And then that's going to be it for day one. We're just going to get the context from the book. We're going to go through vocabulary words and we're going to read through it. That's day one. After you read through it, they're going to take it home. They're going to read it. They're going to bring it back. We're going to read it again together. After we read it again together, they're going to read it to themselves. And as they're reading it to themselves, I'm going to be listening to them. I'm going to be trying to find out if there's anywhere where they're struggling, if they need some help with anything. And then once we get through that, they're going to take it home again. They're going to bring it back. On the third day, we're going to work on some type of phonics skill. We're going to work on some type of vocabulary skill. We're going to work on some type of comprehension skill with our book. And then on that third day, they're going to get that back and then we're going to grab a new book. Now, to be completely honest, some rotations it might take 2 days. Some days it might take 3 days. I'm just going to plan for 3 days and then we will work with it. And then I plan on doing running records. Hopefully every 5 weeks I want to try and get a running record to see if they've grown in their reading. But whatever, that's what I plan on doing. I'm going to try and meet with my groups every day. We're going to story walk, introduce vocabulary, read, talk about some different types of skills. But that's how I plan on doing my guided reading and then trying to do some running records every five-ish weeks, kind of see how their growth is going. Do some fluency reads, kind of see how many words per minute that they can do, and just track that growth that way. But that's how I plan on doing mine. When they're not with me, I've already started our center wheel. A lot of the stuff is very independent. They are doing okay with that. And then I think with me pulling and taking some of those kids away from other kids, I think that'll work out a lot. As far as getting their work done and doing that stuff. So that's my answer for you, Ray. Awesome. Jennifer also commented on this question. She says that she typically has small groups for reading and for math. For reading, she uses F&P testing data to know what level they're reading at. I do too. And then I also do comprehension skills, story maps, vocabulary, etc. during group time. I'll do running records periodically to track their progress and know when to move them up. See, so I am doing it right. I am. Look at me going. Yes, go me. And then she says, for teachers just starting small groups, I urge you really teach procedures for everything during that time. The students need to know that you are absolutely not available to answer little questions while you are with a group, such as, what do I do with this paper? When is lunch? Etc. Teach them to ask another student who is responsible if they are not busy at the moment. They should be able to come to you between groups. I have a neon light that I turn on when I am working with a group and cannot answer questions. But when that group is dismissed and I am waiting for the next group to come, I turn it off and tell students I'm available to answer a few questions that aren't able to get answers by a peer. I also teach my students to walk up to the table and stand there patiently using their sign language for restroom or drink so they don't disturb the group. I will acknowledge I saw them and nod my head for permission to do those things without even missing a step during group time. I like that, Jennifer. You have such great answers to these questions. But yeah, that's my response for Ray. I hope that helps with you. So those are some questions that I answered on Teachers Connect. I hope that my answers helped you guys with your questions. If you have any answers to those questions and you're on Teachers Connect, go on and go ahead and find those questions and put those on there. If you don't have Teachers Connect, but you would like to, go ahead and make an account. I have a link below that you can use to sign up for Teachers Connect. That's all I have for you this week. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. See you guys.